All right. Welcome, everybody. I will be talking today about Laravel and vibe coding. Just to set the expectation right, I'm going to talk about what is vibe coding. I'm sure everyone heard about it already by this time. It's pretty vibey thing. What are the challenges of vibe coding? Why I think Laravel is set up for the success to be like de facto solution in this like space to introduce non-techie people to just build full-blown web apps. I'll also talk a little bit about the opportunities that Laravel has to take on in order to succeed in this space. And yeah, the topic of the talk, this architected vibe. I didn't come up with the term. It's Gemini that came up with the term. But yeah, this is pretty much my discoveries after like a couple months of doing this thing, and also working with someone who vibe codes. So I have this little startup, and I'm the tech guy, and my co-founder is the product guy, and he vibe codes. So I need to deal with all the code that he produces. So I think that's the pretty interesting part that we're gonna get to. And yeah, some random thoughts I have from all these experiences. Oh yeah. So I thought that there is a fun experiment opportunity to use here. So I'm gonna launch the AI agent. It's just like cursor agent to build a web app while I talk. So we'll see how it goes. Just to prove that's the app. It's just like it's a bare bones Laravel app. And I'm gonna so this is my cursor. Okay, I should probably just mirror the thingy. Sorry, this is unusable. I'm gonna put it here.
Does any Chrome user not have finish update in the top right corner?
Oh yeah.
Another question, do you have night shift turned off? Otherwise we will receive bad comments in YouTube again.
No night shift.
Okay.
No night shift. All right. So, is it running? Yeah, it's running. It's doing its thing. Yeah. We're gonna get back to that later on and see you how it went. So, yep. Come on. Yeah. So initially, the vibe coding part was going to be the main part, but I thought that it's a terrible idea to depend on AI on the success of the talk. So I put more content, so we don't end up with like not working application and me looking like a fool. So that doesn't apply. Who am I? My name is Michal Pasierbski. That's how you pronounce it. It's like me, myself, and I. And how are you, Michal? I have 15 years of experience ranging from like agency work, like startups, scale-ups, and I ended up at big techs. I'm old enough to remember when jQuery was cool. I actually remember when jQuery was not the default choice. It was battling with prototype. And I also remember when PHP sucked. Yeah, this is how I feel when talking about AI. It's like, I'm very passionate about the topic, and like, I'm like this guy, like, excuse me, sir, can we talk about it? I talk about it all the time at work, and I feel it just doesn't land at the time, but I'm sure that with enough pressure, we're gonna get there. So what is vibe coding? This guy, Andrei Karpati, he was, I think, AI director in Tesla. He was one of the high up guys in OpenAI. He coined the term in this tweet. And the basic idea is pretty much like you prompt your way to the app. You don't care about the code. You just like, do stuff. Just tell machine what to do, and it should do it, and the code is secondary. So it's very good for throwaway projects to check things out, just, vibe. And yeah, this is a new term that came out yesterday. So this is like the replacement of prompt engineering, right? So prompt engineering was like this like set of techniques to make sure that AI does what you want. And now I think like we reached the state that we kind of know how to talk to those AI models. And now we move to context engineering. So it's, context is king. So now we need to figure out how to set the right context so the AI does what we want, right? So we're talking about the RAG stuff, what to include in the prompts. Yeah, new stuff. So the challenges of vibe coding. As usual, people take it further than it should go, right? That was the idea was to prototype, right? To check the idea, throw it code, and then do the right things. But you have examples like that on Twitter that guys just building apps, put it in production, make customers pay for that, and then stuff like that happens, right? They announce it, the apps are not secure, so you get hackers or abusers, and it ends up like that. People just shutting down the apps and move to some other managed services. Like this guy, I think he's moving to Bubble, which is like a no-code, low-code solution. And that just proves the point that producing code is not necessarily software engineering, that there is much more to that, right? Just like adding once doesn't cut it. We need to talk about the current state of affairs, right? So the vibe coding realm is dominated by Node.js based solution, and there is a good reason for that. You have this web containers technology that you can actually have isolated runtime of Node.js in the browser, so you can pretty much spin up the server in the browser. So the infrastructure is pretty easy, and that's how you can you can prompt and see the results. It just works, right? So yeah, that's the infrastructure part, and it's also easy to deploy, right? You have all those applications like Next.js, Nuxt, that you have this just push the code and it's served in serverless manner. All the server part is just functions, right? So it's just easy to deploy. The packages part. So we need to address that, right? It's obviously every ecosystem has packages, right? But I think Node.js is just bizarre. The is.auth package, it has 4 files in total, and what it does, it install package and it gives you true or false whether the number is odd or not. It's ridiculous. But that's the mindset in Node.js. You create a bunch of packages, right? And then you cobble them together and you have working solution, which in theory makes sense, but if you put it into vibe coding context, yeah, the context, that's what you're missing, right? When you start putting those things together from outside, you don't have a context. And yeah, everything is a SaaS integration, and obviously it's not that different in Laravel. You also have SaaS integrations, but yeah, I'm gonna get to that point. But the key point here is that you as an engineer is responsible for connecting those. And this is the screen from ShipFast. This is a boilerplate, cobbled up integrations, and the guy who sells that, I think he made 1 million in 1 year. He sells that for $200. It's just open source stuff cobbled together. Yeah, but people are still making awesome stuff with vibe coding. So this is the key player in the space. It's called Lovable. yeah, these are like live applications deployed on this lovable um, infrastructure, right? It's again, it's easy, right? It's just like probably some Next.js app served as serverless. You know, you prompt your stuff and it gives you like nice UI. The problem with that is that it's nice UI. You know, it's just a set of pages, but once you get to the like sign in option, like user management, now it's tricky because you need to integrate with this like third party software, like Supabase or something. You need a database. You need to integrate with third party software. So that's where this lovable stuff kind of breaks down. You know, nice UI, but full blown applications, it gets really tricky. So that's so yeah. Why Laravel is set up for success? I'm mentioning the context is king because this is gonna come up all in all in this talk, right? The context is crucial for developing with AI. So for starters, Laravel is monolith, and monoliths tend to do very well in the vibe coding stuff because you have everything inside. You have available all parts of the application, like user management, the pages, the database, everything is inside. The schema of the database, everything is inside your application, and that makes a huge difference. First party packages, like this is important for very specific reason, right? Like Node.js also have like tons of packages, but if you imagine integrations as like a tree. If you go to like this Node.js based solution, you go to npm, it's the package registry, and you have like Node.js here, and then like some packages on the other branch of the tree. If you think about Laravel, it's like Laravel, and then the packages. So it's like, if, for example, if you go to the documentation of Laravel, that's where you can find the link outs, and it's crucial because if you put the documentation link to stuff like Cursor, that's how it discovers the docs. Secure by default. I'm not sure how true is that, but like comparing to the other solutions, it's very true, right? It's like baking in the user model and the authentication framework inside the framework. It's just like it's a win by default in this mode of operation, like with just like vibing out. Like you don't like imagine trying to build application via prompting and you say I want users, and now LLM needs to figure out like how to manage those users. It's not easy, right? And with Laravel, it's just there. Oh yeah, that's the point. Tooling. So I think this is like very overlooked point. So like one thing is to produce the code. The other thing is to make sure that that first of all it works, right? So that's where the testing comes in, and stuff like Nightwatch that was recently released, when you can like inspect what's going on. And the other thing is that you need to have this baked in, and in a very unambiguous way, because like more ambiguity in the LLM context, the more chances to go wrong. For example, like when I was trying to build this app, like when I was rehearsing the talk, I already found out like this like weird quirks that I was instructing LLM to use PHP Artisan, and for some reason it started using Composer. But it's fine, right? We are still like that close to each other. We are not like imagine like running npm something, and then you have choices to run pnpm, bun, whatever. Like there are like multiple runtimes of Node.js. So this is fine, right? And the tooling is consistent. Again, it's the same documentation and stuff. Oh yeah, documentation. Like so, that's the context, right? We get to this context thing all the time, right? The way for the way AI tools work is that usually you put the root of the documentation as a resource, and then those tools can, you know, just like crawl the root and find out solution. If you put like multiple docs, yeah, too much context is also not good, right? There is like this sweet spot where LLMs operate nicely, and I think Laravel nailed it, kind of by accident, but you know, it works. Yeah, so I mentioned with when talking about the lovable that you can you have the app deployed by default, right? And with Laravel is like I didn't find it that easy. So full disclosure, I don't work with Laravel. I use it for my hobby projects. I am familiar with backend engineering, but you know I still had to figure out what to do with it. And with Laravel Cloud, for like guys like me, it's just like you know, click and it's done. I don't need to you know figure out. Do I need to I don't know, artisan optimize, clear cache, whatever like comments are, you know, for redeployments. So that's the big win. And yeah, so I don't think it ends there. So like I think that Laravel is set up for success, but there are still some things to do to kind of buy the public eye. I think the PHP doesn't help in that regard, but you know that's something it's hard to battle. So Laravel is cloud is now like you need to click through, and it's you know I don't want to click through when I'm building my application and want to deploy it with AI. Like, what's the point? Like, why do I need to go to web page and then click stuff? You know, I just want to deploy it, right? And it should be easy, right? It should be just like, you know, I authenticate myself, I put my credit card, and just like, you know, ship it, right? You know, Laravel knows what if I have database, right? It should figure out to like spin up the cluster. So that's one thing. That's technically quite easy to address, and it would make a lot of difference. Um, I didn't talk about rules for AI. Rules for AI is so like when you work with AI agents, usually you have some entry point with your custom instructions, right? So you tell it like your I don't know your coding style, you use TDD, I don't know, use Livewire, Flux, whatever, right? You tell some instructions. So I think like this is also easy win, especially with the starter packs, to ship by default rules for AI by the first party. So I think that will solve some problems, like with like people just like trying to like quickly vibe out something, and you know it end up using some weird stuff instead of what you're actually using. And yeah, first party AI tooling. Yeah, I mostly mean MCP at the moment, right? So you have MCP. I don't know if you're familiar with. It's this. It's a way to deliver pretty much functions for AI in like distributed ways. So like you don't have to like you know manage this locally. You have an MCP server, you ship it, and you know AI can discover tools. So like you can imagine that this can be like the basic example is documentation. You can deliver documentation as MCP, and you know if AI finds itself in some loophole, don't know how to use something, it can just you know you have a list of functions, call it, get documentation, and that's it. So there are like some opportunities to take here. And yeah, this architected vibe thing. So as I mentioned at the beginning, I have a small startup not using Laravel. It's using Python. But we've been doing this for 7 months with my co-owner, and you know he's not a technical guy, he's a product guy. So we end up a lot in the situation where you know he vibe codes something, sends me PR, and now me, instead of working on stuff, I have like this, because he produces code faster than I, right? It's no joke, right? He can you know prompt something out, and I have like 7 PRs to review by the end of the weekend. Right? So it takes my time. So the lessons. In context documentation. So this is, I know we all rather write code than PRDs, TDDs, the ARD, I already forgot about it, but I used it recently. This is this architecture record something. It's about changes in software, like in architecture changes, you document that. So what I mean by in-context documentation, like this documentation should live in the repository and be available to AI. So if it's not, if it faces product decisions, it should refer to your docs. And I will show you later the prompt I have for the sorry, asking me for the permissions. All right.
Can I start? Yes.
Oh no, it went far. No worries, no worries.
He wants a credit card.
Yeah. So. Yeah, lead by example code. So this is something I realized quite quickly that if you put like shitty code in your code base, AI will produce something similar. So you don't want shitty code in your code base, right? So super important and very crucial for like tech-oriented guys to make sure the quality is good. But not only that, it's also modifying the rules for AI to make sure that we don't repeat the same errors. Like, so if you see something that goes wrong, like I don't know, the code is using wrong convention, make sure to put it in the rules for AI so next time it does better. Yeah, and we should treat it as a part of the code, by the way. This obviously are checked into repository, but these are subject to change. Treat it as a code. Review that. It's important. Prompts are also part of the code. So like I tend to reuse the same prompt. So to give an example, I usually start with tests. So I do like test-driven development when working with AI because like tests are important, especially in this context where AI can do like sweeping changes and then what happens. So I use prompts to like write me tests first, then write the code, verify if it works, and then clean up the code, right? So the cleanup at the end is like, I find it's like nice little trick that improves the quality quite a bit. So we put those prompts in the code as well. So my co-founder can also reuse them. Yeah, I heard this surgical changes term from some YouTuber. I like it a lot. So like if you do what I did right now, which no, it's something about VPN. Okay, keep going. So if you do something like I did right now, which is pretty much like, this is how you should build it, it doesn't work that well. Because again, as I said before, too much context, it's not that good. It gets lost. So my advice is to use very surgical small changes, apply them, do testing, and then like launch another, like window, another context of the prompt. Oh yeah, and then TDD works great. This is my go-to solution right at the moment with vibe coding. So to be honest, I like writing code, so going with this vibe trend is also like taking fun from me. But this kind of gives me satisfaction that it writes tests, or I write tests, or I write tests with help of AI, and then it goes on, and at the end you see all green, which is so satisfying. Yeah, this is something we learned hard way. Staging environment is like, I know, like when I do side projects, I usually just go to production. But again, if you trust AI too much, you're gonna shoot yourself in the foot. So staging environment is a must. CI pipelines is a must. Especially if you like work in team and you kind of go with this approach that we trust each other, that we're gonna do well. Just ship it, right? So staging super important. All right. So this is actually the application that it produced. Obviously, it doesn't work. which is kind of expected, I guess, you know. um, so let me bring this guy up. So as you can see, it does things. You know, it's a long list of stuff that it did, right? And if you check the diffs, I don't know if you can see something. Yeah, if you check the diffs, it does what you expect, right? It creates controllers, models, yeah, modifies user, nice. Creates some migrations, views, modifies the routes. It, does what it's supposed to do. Oh, and it even creates tests. Because I prompted it to create tests, right? That's good. Yeah. By the way, this is like the my like kickoff prompt. Good luck. I heard there was a rumor that saying thank you in a chat costs millions of dollars to OpenAI. I don't care, to be honest. I paid a subscription. Uh, yeah, so since it's not working, let me share you some of the prompts I started with. So this is actually a combination of Claude code and my changes. So I tried them all, right? If you look at the file structure, you have Gemini MD. Gemini released yesterday, I think. Gemini CLI, which is like CLI-based AI coding agent. Claude MD, the Claude coding agent in Terminal. There is this rule, not this one. Not this one. Yeah, this is also like extension to VS Code. It's similar, it's pretty much like orchestrator. Yeah, orchestrator. Like you can create tasks and it launch stuff. But yeah, I stick to Cursor. So yeah, this was generated by Claude, and then I modified this with just manually. So as you see, always consult PRD. Like this is like, for me, that's a must. Like we have documentation, and we tell it always use documentation when you change stuff, right? I have this tasks MD, which I track tasks. I mean, it's not for me, it's for AI again to complete, but I'm not sure if it's updated. Let's see. No. Stupid computer. But it should. So that's the problem with AI, right? Sometimes it does what you want, and sometimes it does not, right? It's like if you have kids, it's like kids, They don't always listen. But yeah, that's so it gives overview of the project, what to do. Tasks is what I want from the application. So it's pretty much like description, like create database models, create views, blah blah blah. But again, it doesn't. I don't recommend this approach. You should go like step by step, with the human in the loop. Don't do that stuff. It doesn't work. Let me just check. Oh, look, it does something. I'm not sure. Maybe it's. Do we have maybe I don't have npm run. Look, see? Now it looks decent, sure, like double header, but whatever. Right, so that's the beauty of Laravel, right? You have stuff baked in, right? So I don't need to create user authentication. Let me. Eight dots, that's my go-to. Okay. Let's see if do vibe coding works. Yes, no. I'm wondering if that. Oh, interesting. Usually that part doesn't work. It's live wire. So from my tries, I think like maybe one time it did work. Like out of like I don't know 7, 8 generations. Okay. I say no. Ta-da. And it's here. I'm very surprised that it worked. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. This does work, right? If I refresh, it's an iframe. Yeah. So I have some thoughts about this whole thing. After months of working with that, yeah, you can see on YouTube like tons of videos. Like I created this app with Cloud Code in 4 hours and it makes me $3,000 a month. I don't buy that. It's it's bullshit. Like it's unless it's a landing page to sell something. Like we don't full-blown apps. No, it doesn't work like that. That's a spicy one because again we have this battle of tools like as I mentioned, Cloud Code, Gemini CLI, Cursor, Windsurf. Like there are like camps battling which one is the best. From my experience, they're all the same. Yeah. It does. There are some differences, but at the end, I don't know. Like unless they have I don't know, Claude have MCP support and all others doesn't have the MCP support, then it's winner. But the industry moves so fast, they catch up pretty fast. For me, they're all the same, and just stick to one and master it. And if you need to change, again, all the same. Yeah, CI pipeline is more important than ever. It's it's already important, right? But now when you like generate code and you trust it more and more, it's a must. And also with linting, yeah, I forgot about this one. So again, this comes from the learnings from my co-founder. We use like different extension for linting, and we end up with this crappy code, like some formatted that way, some that other way. So yeah, make sure that it's consistent and have it's pretty much like set the guidelines. Make sure that it produces the code you want in the way you want, that the tests are passing, and all that basic stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I tend to forget about that, especially when I'm working on side project, like because I know what I want to do, so why would I write it? Like for whom? The answer is for LLM at this point. Yeah, don't overthink it. So this is, so I struggle with that. I've been working for 15 plus years. I like to write code. I think about it a lot. So like just putting in prompt, like give me, I don't know, this model, give me this controller, this is counterintuitive. And I saw my co-founder doing that all the time. Like, it's easy to prompt it, get a result. It works, it looks like I want, no, revert, and then just repeat, right? So code is commodity right now. It's cheap to produce, like, so that's my message, like just don't overthinking, write good documentation, write good PRDs, TDDs, and let the code just flow. There is obviously the other side to that, right? But you can put yourself in a hole, right? Like, I'm not sure if it's the case with Laravel, because again, it's so robust framework. But if you work in in some Next.js project, if you don't think too much, you end up with like people abusing your software, like circumventing the authentication payment system because it's all on you. We have a luck to have those first-party packages like what's the name of the one for Stripe? There you go, right? So that handles the stuff. So, but again, have a common sense. Yeah, and I guess that's the invitation for you to ask questions and share your thoughts. Thanks.
Any questions? I assume.
Interesting talk, by the way. Thank you very much. A question where I always am a bit struggling is the terms of privacy.
Sure.
For example, if you have end files and so on, do you really trust something like an AI ignore files, or do you have other recommendations how you would? Because sometimes you don't have an end file on your local environment that really does not have sensitive data in it. And that's still the one where I really am scared about. I mean, I use these ignore files, but yeah.
So it's a tooling thing, right? So for example, Cursor has like setting where you can remove end files from the context. So we'll never. It can ask for end file, but it requires permission, right? Well, obviously you can go YOLO mode and go on read that stuff, but it's.
But you are currently only working with Cursor, or do you have?
I have most experience with Cursor and most success with Cursor, but as I said, it's
And you trust it.
Trust,
I mean,
yeah, it's a strong word, yeah. I mean, so I'm not working with like some medical data and stuff like that, so plus the data doesn't live in your code, right? Usually it lives in some database or your production environment, so in that sense, I do trust it.
they really do talk about secrets and stuff and something like that, and that, of course.
Yeah, but
perhaps there is a line that you have to draw if you said like medical stuff and so on.
Yeah.
Perhaps
So you're talking about secrets.
Yeah.
So
these kind of stuff are really full-blown credentials that shouldn't.
So I don't keep production secrets in my local
That's what
environment.
I said.
Like keep
but
it
there
in.
is, I mean, we are working in an agency, so there is the point where you have. So we only have a production environment.
Oh, I see.
In our third-party providers, for example. So you have to have it on your local as well, and that could become ugly.
Yeah, then I can see your point. Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to ask you, how much trust do you have in this?
As any other supplier that takes my money, right?
Okay, that's good. Thanks.
Thank you for the talk. I'm really curious as someone that does not do vibe coding a lot. Like, you have a lot of subscriptions, I assume, to all these services. How much would an app that you just vibe coded in the background, how much tokens would that cost, or is it included in a subscription?
It's included in subscription. So I pay for Cursor, which is I bought it for 100 a year. I think it's a good deal, and it's all included. I don't care about the tokens at all. So
I see.
So it's I don't want to say it's for free, but there is no additional.
It's not
cost.
infinite billing.
I'm sure they have some quotas. I don't know if I run this agent 24/7 for 30 days or 60 days. I'm sure they're gonna reach out and what are you doing? But for like normal use, I haven't met quotas yet.
Okay.
And it's the same with Cloud, I think. For like $17 a month, you're using Cloud, right?
But I hit the quota every day.
I'm sure this is gonna change, right? I think right now it's kind of like by the market stage where the companies are willing to spend more money than they earn to just capture the market. So I'm sure at some point, like with Meetup, right? At some point it's gonna flip and you're gonna pay for it.
But the thing with Cloud is you don't have a daily quota. It resets after 2 hours or something like that. It's kind of
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Any more questions? If not, then we will do like a
We'd like to thank again Michal for his
Thank you so much.